Last time on Dragon Ball Z, a newly supercharged Gohan arrived to Earth with some choice words to begin his long-awaited rematch with Majin Buu. Fists flew and feelings were hurt as Super Buu came to understand that the warrior standing in front of him now was an entirely different animal, but perhaps the same beast as he so thoroughly wowed a short time ago.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What the does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Realizing the brute force method would be ineffective this time around, Buu hit Control-Alt-Delete and ended the back and forth in an explosive coup de grace. With Buu's whereabouts unknown, the gang turned their attention to Operation Recover Dende, as Gohan realized during his fight with Buu that the Earth's little guardian was still alive, meaning there was the tiniest hope left that the plans could still come together. Begrudgingly rescuing Satan as well, right as the Z crew were to begin their search for the Dragon Balls, who else should return but Majin Buu? However, this time, his focus seemed to be on the little fusion that could rather than Gohan, who proved to be more than a match a short time ago. Utilizing the boy's naive and braggadocious nature against them, Buu manipulated the boys into fusing and right before the fight could begin, put his nefarious plans into motion, absorbing both Gotenks and Piccolo into his own body and creating a warrior the likes the universe had yet to see up to this point. Now with his back against the wall and the last of his family taken away, how would Gohan fare against Majin Buu? Shoddy ass stance aside, all things considered, Buu and Gohan got to throw in the ones pretty quickly. Mostly due to Buu's realization that Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks transformation was on a very short time limit, and if he didn't want things to get messy, the shonen battle shenanigans would have to wait. As we've come to expect a bit, the broadcast team got busy here and flexed their animation and creativity muscles in the scrap between Top G and Fused Buu. It's an extremely fun watch and was well choreographed, which made it all the more surprising to me when I peeped the manga version of this fight, because from the moment the first kick was thrown, it had all the Son Gohan fans punching the air looking for the closest nearby inhaler of copium as they watched Buu catch that nonsense moments before impact looking like a bored Derrick Rose's NBA stat sheet. Gohan, peeping that he was moments away from being benched yet again, raised his other leg and tried to sneak Buu right in the temple, but the situation got even worse when he grabbed Gohan's other leg, had bro in midair, leg straddled missionary style, looking down on him like his name was Fleece Johnson. Top G knew he had to act fast, so he shot a key blast trying to do anything he could to beat the sketch allegations, but then this fella Buu took his third leg, yoinked Gohan up by the neck, and started choking the life out of him, smiling like a menace as he played with his food with sadistic pleasure. For just a minute, y'all, can we mourn Gohan's usefulness in the story and acknowledge just how little time he got to return to his former glory before getting made into a chalk outline and relegated to ass-pool purgatory? For my homies that have been around for a minute, y'all know I mess with the little buddy Gohan, and I'm the first one to come to his defense about not being a fighter for real and being relegated to that role due to circumstance outside of his control. But as much as I mess with old potty mouth and can relate to him having to put on the gloves for a greater purpose, one thing that really drives my potato is how Gohan as a character becomes little more than a convenient plot device after a certain point, and that reality super shines here. While we went through an arc-spanning training arc and heroic road to redemption only to watch this man show up to the Earth in his father's clothes, drop a hard R, piss Buu off, and become fodder for the villain so the real heroes could come back and finish the job that old Chokan couldn't manage yet again. And that's really the story of this kid's whole life in Dragon Ball, for keeping it a buck. Show up, have potential, do something cool, lose, repeat until we need a character to get us out of an unwinnable situation, and then we start to cycle back from the top. At QCJ from San Andreas.mp4.
Oh shit, here we go again.
I 100% empathize with Toriyama's decisions surrounding the character though. Not only did Gohan have the unenviable position of being the guy that's supposed to replace Son Goku of all people, but with the direction that the manga took, I know it had to be really difficult to write a character so averse to fighting and put him at center stage of a series that became for many all about the spectacle and the throwing of the proverbial hands. I just couldn't help but get a little sentimental because this fella Buu was absolutely taking this man Gohan to the cleaners, boy. It was so sad the story literally changed genres for a moment as we went from shonen battle to horror, watching this fella Gohan hiding in the rocks and looking around corners hoping the boogeyman wouldn't catch him breathing too hard and spank him on the backside. And I'm sure y'all can hazard a guess as to how much Majin Buu was enjoying playing with his food. Before that first exchange of blows even took place, he knew he had this fight in the bag, so the whole altercation for him was more play than it was a battle for the fate of the universe. I'd be remiss though if I didn't comment on how much I love Buu's voice in the transformation and how A1 his trash talking game is. For me, there are a few moments in particular that stick out. The first is when Buutenks is dodging all of Gohan's desperate punches, makes his arm crank that soldier boy, and then starts pillow talking in his ear about how he clearly didn't learn everything he needed to from Piccolo, or else he wouldn't be getting done this crazy right now. The second moment is right after this, where Gohan is in a fit of rage, gets his arm out of the hole and attempts to kick Buu away, trying to get his hot-ass bubblegum breath out of his nose, when Buu pulls up and with the slightest of touches rests his knuckles right on the side of Gohan's face as he looks on in horror. Bro, if this was Vegeta, he would have literally self-deleted after something like that. This is the most disrespectful thing you can do to another fighter, man. Rather than taking his head off and finishing things up like he could have, he wants Gohan to know that while he could have ended stuff a long time ago, your life is in my hands, and every second you're breathing from now on is out of the kindness of my heart. Straight evil behavior. It got so bad even B and the People's Chance had to pull up and make sure no canon events were occurring that could end up nuking his chances of getting a granddaughter. When you're out here getting saved by Hercule Satan, you know it's time to reevaluate the whole entire situation. But the absolute best line has to be before Gohan's head starts getting used as a mop for the whole wasteland, where he and Buu are in Goku and Vegeta's nostalgia poses, preparing to get active, and he goes, "I'm gonna show you why my little brother looks up to me." And all this dude Buu says in response is, he doesn't. Bro never had two words been strung together with more venom. The damage in Gohan's cognitive still remains unrepaired to this day. But what makes it even worse is you don't know whether that burn is a lie or not. Because after absorbing the two little fellas, I could 100% see them saying something about Gohan low-key being ass and not measuring up to their output in their transformed state as cocky as they are. Buutenks is a master at psychological warfare, and to me, those make the best kind of villains. And I know I've harped on it, but can y'all believe that this is truly the last fight we're ever going to see Gohan in within Z? That absolutely blows me away. They really wrote this fella top G out of the script on an L, and the pattern does nothing but continue as we work our way into Super. Buutenks, being the absolute bastard he is, prepares to end Gohan's series tenure with a technique from his brother, wrapping him up in a galactic donut to finish things off. Goku and company are peeping all this from the land of the dead, and I know old Kai was pissed that he had his ass cha-cha sliding for 72 hours straight, only to have his people getting used like a Q-tip within a half hour. The ass beating was so crucial, Elder Kai only saw one way out of it. The Goku card had to be pulled one last time, and he knew the only way that could happen. But before we can find out what that meant, our view turns to Gohan getting the second worst experience with a donut he's ever had in his life, when Buu finally figured out just how he wanted to retire Top G's jersey. This ought to look familiar. I can't imagine a more fitting attack to delete you from the script with, can you? And next thing Gohan knew, a Kamehameha with nothing but bad intentions was headed straight for his midsection, ready to put him into the history of Trunks continuity. But at the last minute, Gohan summoned strength from deep within his loins and burst out of the galactic delicacy, escaping just in time to see the beam trail off into the distance and wonder how he got himself into this mess. But matters of great import were at hand, as our view returns to Yama's, whose whole workflow has been thrown out of whack by Goku's inability to finish his plate, leading to 99.6% of the planet Earth's population clogging up his waiting room. As we peep the CEO of the dead lamenting his current logistics nightmare, he's decided that in order to ensure the current status quo doesn't end up permanent, some exceptions on the good boy pass may need to be made so business can be attended to. And as the frame slowly expands and our perspective alters, keen-eyed viewers will recognize that onesie in those size 4.5 Saiyan booties anywhere. The prince's body and soul have been restored to provide aid for the quickly crumbling situation on Earth, and I'd be lying to y'all if I said I didn't miss the cocky piece of Uzaru refuse. Finally stepping away from watching Goku's SSJ3 transformation long enough to dry his tears, the prince knew that for them to bring an absolute piece of work like him back from the depths of hell, something awful must have been going on back home. But he's rarely been one to turn down a good time. As Baba finishes charging up her Tesla, we make our way back to Planet Fitness, where old Kai has finished informing Goku of his plan. He'll give him his remaining time on the clock to go back to Earth and regulate so this Majin Buu business doesn't get any uglier than it already has. I love this moment a lot because it really shows Toriyama's comedic chops. For any of my Z crew out there that have seen it, please tell me this moment didn't remind you of that scene from the movie Kung Pao where Master Tang dies. Goku rolls up on Elder Kai, who just proclaimed that he will boldly give his life to ensure the safety of the Ningen race and, in fact, the entire universe. Goku somberly walks towards the old man, stunned but grateful that he would do something so exceedingly selfless. Elder Kai then says farewell as his body lifelessly falls to the floor, and in that same moment Goku's halo fades, signaling the passing of the torch. Goku then remains above the body, proclaiming that he'll do everything he can not to waste the life given to him, when all of a sudden this old ass man springs back to life like, "Psych, where the hoes at?" And realizing that Kakarot is already a weak heart, and that theatrical performance right there almost put him into another cardiac arrest. Straight drama queen, this Elder Kai fella, you gotta love him. But while Goku was having the life returned to him, Top G was getting the life kicked out of him. Buu continued to taunt Gohan at every turn, pushing him to desperation as he deliberately worked to destroy any meager semblance of hope Gohan might still have to finish the fight. After being implanted into the ground with a nasty elbow, Gohan mustered all of his strength and shot a beam towards Buu that he hoped would finally do some kind of damage. Briefly caught off guard, Buu was quick to regroup and turned that nonsense to cinder with all the vicious ferocity of a prime Hakeem Olajuwon, duffing the blast so hard it shot through the Earth's surface and made its way into the Milky Way to ruin some poor extraterrestrial's retirement plans. With a hate-filled smile, Buu made his way to the crater to come face to face with a Gohan who was using the reprieve to apply icy hot and think of what lie he was going to tell to Videl when he saw her in the afterlife regarding how he sold the match for the Earth. What's wrong, my friend? You don't look happy to see me. I still have 10 minutes left like this, so let's enjoy ourselves. And with the most glorious "that's what she said" set up leaving his lips, Buu proceeded to beat the stank off this man. And I won't hold y'all, the way it was characterized in the manga almost made me sick to my stomach laughing. The mud hole stomping Buu was giving Gohan right then was truly Looney Tunes tier. Toriyama wouldn't even let us see it. All we got were onomatopoeias and Hercule and Dende's reactions, which made the whole thing even worse than if we actually got a glimpse of what was going on. In a section full of solid gold moments, this one is absolutely worth mentioning. After hearing the Courage the Cowardly Dog-esque pretzeling Gohan was catching at the center of the earth, this man Hercule stood there damn near sweating his mustache off with Dende when the benevolent green fellow told him that this is likely game over and that if he runs now, he and the pup might be able to be saved from the worst of Buu's wrath. But then this fool started cracking a smile and was like, "Nah, little buddy, while the Earth may be out of time, I ain't out of options," and pulled out a Desert Eagle, convinced that this was all it was going to take to end this little kerfuffle with Majin Buu was a quick 45 to the temple. I saw somebody comment this online and I think it's 100% true. The higher the power scaling is in your series, the funnier it is when a gun gets pulled out. It's damn near 1-to-1 and Satan is just solidifying that rule even more here with this current nonsense. Returning to Kai Island though, right before Goku leaves to take the subspace highway back to Earth, Elder Kai hits the seasoned vet with a very important question. So how do you plan on winning this? As concerning as it was simple, it gave even that foolhardy Goku a moment of pause when, after reflecting, he came to a potential answer. Fusion. If he could make it planet-side before Buu aired him out completely, he could fuse with his son, and their combined powers may just be enough to take on the likes of Buutenks. Old Kai wasn't as convinced though, reminding Goku that the creature's newfound intelligence, it was very unlikely he would be allowed the time needed to hit the griddy with his son in order to fuse properly, let alone teach it to the boy who had only ever seen it done in front of him one time before watching the experience end as a total bust. Goku could feel his cactus getting drier by the moment, but the ever-resourceful Elder Kai had a solution, revealing 2 earrings with a smile and handing them over to Goku. Sorry, Elder Kai, but I can't really say I swing that direction. Though there was that one time in the other world where I thought I was never going to see Chi-Chi again, and— "No, you don't. These are the Potara earrings. Artifacts harbor a great magical power that allow 2 warriors to fuse into one with even greater results than the fusion ritual." What? No way. Why didn't you say that before, old Kai? Put her there. And you two, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, you'll be the guinea pigs. Throw on these earrings so you can show Goku how it works. I doubt either of you will be missed. Following the wisdom of the elder, Shin and Kibito donned the earrings and proceeded to bump uglies in a more literal sense than either ever imagined, leading to that now familiar glow we've come to expect from Fusion engulfing the landscape. On Earth, though, Gohan's day just continued to get worse, as we return to see the hero of the hour hitting the Yamcha on a bed of rocks, looking like there isn't a glass of milk big enough to help him through what he's currently getting put through. Dende, still on the front lines, returns to the warrior's side and agreed to use his healing powers to get the young man back in the fight. If you listen real close, rumors say that you can hear Gohan beg, "Please don't," through gritted teeth, but unfortunately for him, Dende couldn't hear the request over the sounds of Top G's bones creaking and rejuvenated him just in time for Buu to catch a glimpse of the happenings. Buu, after crunching the numbers and verifying that Gohan had in fact now received a Zenkai, wiped the sweat from his triply non-existent brow and shot a blast to keep Gohan busy while he set aim for the real problem. That little Piccolo could end up being a real nuisance if he was left to his own devices. Sending a death beam directly to the target, all looked lost for Earth's Guardian until Satan emerged from the rubble, Deagle at the ready and firing at the incoming blast. And to everyone's sheer horror, it appeared that it worked, as Buu's blast deflected away harmlessly and the intended victim sat in open mouth shock. After further examination though, it appeared that it wasn't Hercule's Juggernog-infused volley to thank for their lifeline being spared, but the bald-headed, 3-eyed human of the hour, Tien Han, who managed to dive, dip, duck, and dodge his way into humanity's remaining ranks following Buu's rampage. Random side note, about a year ago when I was running through the series with my son, we got to this part and I went all in on Hercule's bullets being the culprit and knocking away Boo's ki blast and actually being able to do damage to Boo. And to this day, my son still has no real idea of how strong Hercule is because of how hard I've been committing to the bit. Random piece of knowledge, but I had to get that off my chest, and if little KGM watches this one day, my apologies, son. But I'd be lying if I said those conversations about Hercule actually being stronger than Goku didn't crack your old man up in the worst kind of way. But returning to the fight, basking as though he somehow understood this would be his final moment of relevance, a relieved Tien speaks up to the young prodigy he once shared the battlefield with in days long past, acknowledging Gohan's growth, but unfortunately, their problems might have grown just a bit faster. I missed one. Clumsy me. Allow me to remedy that mistake. Here, with Boo's chilling confidence as Tien and Gohan make their last stand, is where we'll call it. Tune in next time as Boo decides he's had enough of the games and prepares to put an end to the Earth permanently on Gohan and Tien's watch. Will our otherworldly heroes make it in time to change the fate of the planet, or is there nothing left to be done about Buutenks' earthly rampage? Only one way to find out. Be easy, y'all, and catch you again in the next video.